Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and we are very excited to announce our spring sales event happening now at Coppell. We have 0% financing or up to $13,000 off select GMC and Chevrolet inventory. You heard that right, 0%. Or $13,000 off select inventory. We'd love to see you at the store or check us out online at coppellcars.com. Folks, this is really confident buying and confident driving. Stock number C127238 and G173977 with approved credit.
A membership with John Henry's will fast track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be warm with an afternoon high near 85. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, low around 50. And tomorrow, we'll see most sunny skies return. Be breezy and hot with a high near 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Husker fans, baseball is back in Lincoln, and it's time to get your tickets to Nebraska baseball. Catch great matchups all season long as the Huskers take on some of the top teams in the Big Ten, including Indiana, USC, and Iowa. Plus, don't miss midweek action against in-state rival Creighton and regional matchups with Kansas and Kansas State. Bring the whole family. General admission tickets start at just $10 or grab reserved seats for $15. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action this season. Get your tickets today by visiting huskers.com/tickets or by calling 1-800-8-BIG-RED. MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their Contact Us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to March Mayhem. Live coverage of the NCAA tournament from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake, has it set in? Has reality set in yet? We are an NCAA tournament game champion. That's how I'm going to phrase it. We're an NCAA tournament game champion. How do you feel about that?
Hang the banner.
Hang the banner.
I don't know about that far, but I do. I mean, it is
I
like,
do.
I'm not against it, I guess. I'll start out by saying that, but it is. I was telling Terrell, I was waking up in the middle of the night thinking about Nebraska basketball. It is hard. My feet have not touched the floor. Where Nebraska is at as a program after so long watching it. Of course, many of us have loved ones that have departed, that never made it to this day, Husker fans that never made it to this day. And so, just to be any small part of it, which was, being able to broadcast here from Buffalo Wings and Rings and watch the game and do the watch along with you was just incredible. And so no, I'm not. I don't know if I've gotten used to it or what it means. I mean, there's no ceiling on Nebraska basketball anymore. We'll see where it takes us from here, but there's no longer this ceiling that stands over Nebraska basketball.
Hang the banner, get the statues ready.
That's right.
You may have seen this. I saw it on X. Somebody like the whole team. It's like the team picture that you take every year with all the players, all the coaches, Hoiberg, all 15, 16 players or whatever, and it's like, put the statue up out in front of the where they play and whatnot. And I was like, I support this. I support every single bit of this. All right. Nebraska basketball, as everyone knows by now, first NCAA tournament victory yesterday, 76-47 over the Troy Trojans. Now, Price Sanford had a phenomenal game. Did not quite set the three-point record. 7, not 8. Is that a disappointment?
No, because he already has the tied record at 8.
Yep.
He is. Maybe that'll be something that he thinks about when he's coming back next year. He wants to get to 9 in a game.
I like that. So one of the things I really liked yesterday was not just that he got hot and the offense gets rolling, but during the regular season, we averaged 77 points a game. At the end of the year, when we cooled off in the regular season, we averaged 63. So when you talk about how they finished the regular season, okay, not to put a damper on anything, but just to go backwards before we go forwards real quick, there was a significant drop in the production on offense. The defense really didn't waver a ton. We started to struggle a little bit in the paint. The defense didn't waver. The offense kind of dipped. 76 points yesterday. We're back around where we were when we were we were around when that started to change. Our record was about, was it 22-2? Because I looked at the end of the season. We're about 22-2 when it started to dip. Now we're starting to look like we did those first 20 to 24 games, at least offensively. The way the offense ran, how smooth it looked, the discipline, the defense they played with. But my favorite part, I always tend to err towards defense, things that are black, and things that are down low and physical. I have no idea why that would be. It's because I was a black shirt and I played defense and I was in the nitty-gritty trenches. Yeah, no idea why. But points in the paint. We had 26. They had 10. That was my favorite stat of the day. Points in the paint. All right, we out-rebounded them as well, 33-37. I love the defensive performance. I love the defensive effort. I love the turnovers that they forced. I love the fact that we control the paint down low. Now, are we all of a sudden a team that's just going to dominate the paint every single game? Probably not. You got to show progression. You got to show improvement. And it was very noticeable. This was a Troy team that was healthy. They hadn't had their center for 7 games. This was a Troy team that was I don't want to say hot. They won 4 in a row. They definitely weren't lukewarm or mild. They were warming up if they weren't already hot. And for Nebraska to come out and play the way they did, you got to feel pretty good about that. You watch a team like Duke just eke it out, man. They were down by double digits. My son's like texting me while he's at school. I said, stop texting me while you're at school. He's like, we're all watching the game at Texas. I understand. I'm supposed to say this. I'm obligated to say this as your dad. Enjoy the game, but stop texting me. Pretend to learn, at least. But, Duke comes down to the end. Then Wisconsin gets upset. It's March Madness. So you never know what can happen. Nebraska could have been, 29-point difference? Could have been a 29-point better team than Troy, and Troy could have scored one more point because that's what March Madness is. So to see Nebraska come out, play this way, get the monkey off their back, kick the elephant out of the room, to me, that's exciting. And I love what they did defensively. Obviously, Sanford's going to be the highlight of the game. The three-pointers, the outside shooting, things of that nature. Anytime you shoot over 30% from beyond the arc, they shot 36%. I mean, that's going to be very impressive. Your chances of winning are going to go through the roof. But I love the defense. I love the turnovers they force, and I love the play down low. What else stood out to you? Now that we've gone backwards, you give your final thoughts on that. Then we can look forward a little bit.
Well, I did like the assist-to-turnover ratio. I think it's 20-6 there, and part of that is getting Rink Mass going again. He led it's funny, I keep saying this, but it's so true. Is Nebraska's good when Sam Hoiberg is leading the team in rebounds and Rink Mass is leading the team in assists. It's a weird kind of deal, but that means that Sam is out there, getting to the board. I mean, he's a great rebounding guard, and they run the offense through Rink often. and are at their best when he's effective at it. So, Rick Mass was a big key. A lot of people said kind of get back going. And that's what I think for more than anything, other than team defense. I mean, you hold them under 50 points. That's incredible. But other than that, I think just kind of the individual performances that needed to happen for Nebraska to feel like they were clicking on all cylinders kind of started to appear again. Again, Jamarcus Lawrence, 4 of 8 from the field, much better shooting performance than he's had here of recent since he tweaked his ankle there. So that was huge. Braden Frager with double digits off the bench, aggressive, shooting, going after it. That's what we needed to see for Nebraska. If they're going to beat Vanderbilt, if they're going to make a run in this tournament, you need to have everybody playing with confidence. And I think with not just the game, how it played out, but then just afterwards, that's going to be the question is Nebraska going to be able to kind of focus that energy once again? Can they use this, bottle it up, and put it toward momentum and confidence and all that? Or is it going to become somewhat of a distraction because they, to a degree, got to celebrate like they won a championship because they did something that's never been done in school history. And obviously we all know the importance of that. And the crowd that was there in Lincoln, or basically felt like Lincoln, heading down to Oklahoma City. But that's my question now is, can you bottle that energy for something good, or does it become a distraction going into Saturday?
Yeah, there were people in attendance at Oklahoma City, people who are at NCAA tournament games every year, and they have been for years, that said they had never seen an atmosphere like that. Vanderbilt's coach, after they beat McNeese, he's like, well, how wonderful is it that we get to play an away game in the middle of an NCAA tournament when it's supposed to be a neutral site game? So much for that. I don't feel bad at all. Remember all those years we had to go play that team from Miami in Miami, or team from Tallahassee in Miami in Florida over and over and over. I feel 0% bad. So for me, when you project forward, well, before we do that, because I think you made a great point. Here I am you're talking about banners. I'm talking about, statues and NCAA tournament game champion. And, we're jesting, we're having fun, but there's some seriousness to it. But now celebrate. You got to move on. By the time they woke up this morning, it needed to be behind them. Bill Belichick, he would celebrate a Super Bowl for one day, and then bam, he was up at 4 a.m. that following Tuesday. He'd celebrate it for Monday. Tuesday morning, he was up at 4 a.m., burning the candle at both ends. I'll never forget, and I don't know Nick Saban personally, but Nick Saban, you remember the whole Manti Te'o catfishing thing? What was that, 2012, something like that, when Notre Dame played Alabama? I think it was in the Orange Bowl, and they got massacred by Alabama. I remember Saban walking off after the game. They're interviewing. He just won a national championship. Just curb stomped the other team for the title. They're talking to him about the game and the season, and all he can talk about is tomorrow we start over. Like, he didn't even it didn't sound like he was even going to take a day. Tomorrow we start over. We got to hit up recruits. We're hitting the recruiting trail. We're doing this. We're doing that. It's like tomorrow starts again. I was just like, I don't even think he smiled. I've never forgotten that. I was just like, man, I don't think this dude ever smiled once the whole time. Even Kurt Cignetti smiled after winning the national title this past year. He did. That was awesome to see, by the way. So it's the ability to celebrate it last night. But when they woke up this morning, it needs to be the what's next. We got Vanderbilt next. Because everything they do going forward is going to be the first time a Nebraska basketball team's ever done it, whatever it is. Whether it's win in the second round, get to the Sweet 16, win a 28th game, because no team had ever won 27 until yesterday, whether it's lose in the second round, whatever the case may be, it's going to be the first time a Nebraska basketball team's ever done it. They set multiple records yesterday, all right, from obviously winning the first NCAA tournament game, winning a record 27th game, having the largest lead they've ever had in an NCAA tournament game, which when they said it was 16 points. Obviously, the final separation was 29 points at the end of the game. 76-47 being the final score. They made the most amount of three-pointers in an NCAA tournament game they've ever made. They set multiple records yesterday. And it feels to me like Jamarcus Lawrence. When we were playing well, he was a factor. Frager, before he got kind of banged up and hurt out of that Michigan game in a couple of games, he was a factor. It kind of felt like Sanford's going to do his thing. Can Mass get back to the level he was playing at? You got Frager. You got Jamarcus Lawrence. You got Hoiberg's going to Hoiberg. I mean, Hoiberg's just going to Hoiberg all over the place. And I don't know how that comes across, but however it comes across, that's exactly how I mean it. Because he's going to do what he does. And if they're all kind of contributing and they're all kind of coming together, that's going to be the biggest thing, along with, all right, we woke up this morning, we did something we've never done. We partied like it was 1999, but now it's time to focus on the Commodores from Vanderbilt. that team from Nashville. So how do they respond? How do they react? I think that's going to be very interesting to watch, to see. I feel pretty good about it. Have you ever heard me in the middle of a game basically guarantee victory like I did yesterday? Remember that?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Never once.
Yeah.
Never once. I've said we look great. I feel really good. Unfortunately, I remember those times specifically. It was in football games, and yeah. I did not delete the post later, although I really wanted to after the game was over. But I was like, so yesterday I was just like, I felt so good just knowing what we know about this team. The only chance Troy had the first 5 minutes of the second half was if they caught fire, and they didn't. And I left before the second half started. And I was like, they're going to win. They're going to win by 20. And they ended up winning by 29. I said by 20 or more. I just felt so good about it. I feel not like guaranteeing victory versus Vanderbilt or we're going to win by 20, but I feel as good as you can feel after yesterday's game going into tomorrow's game, because the monkey is off the back. The elephant is out of the room. Now they can just go play ball. They're playing with house money at this point. They are playing with house money. Are they a top 16 team in the country? Yeah. Do you believe they're one of the best 16 teams in the country?
Yeah. I mean, they're probably at the back end of that, but yeah, right now.
Without hesitation.
Yeah.
I think, would they end up ranked in the regular season? 13th? I think it was 13th.
They are fit. So it's interesting. They're 15th right now in the polls, and
Okay.
Vandy is 16th.
So it's an incredibly even matchup in the round of 2. I was a little surprised to see Vanderbilt as a 5 seed, by the way, when I saw that come out. I feel like we are unequivocally one of the best 16 teams in the country. We're playing when you're a 4 seed versus a 3 seed or a 2 seed, which we were vying to be. Okay, we earned the 4 seed. Take from that what you will. You're going to play a little bit tougher team. If they're a 5 seeded team, it's a little bit more equal to you. But I unequivocally feel like we're one of the best 16 teams in the country. But if you're Nebraska, like I said, you're playing with house money. Just go out and do your thing, ball out, coming together at the right time. At least that's what it feels like. And we'll see what happens. Don't forget the ladies play today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Nebraska women's basketball team won their round of 4 game over Michigan, Richmond, 75-56. They looked really good. They take on Baylor today, 1 p.m. Central Time. So we'll see if the men can get a first-round win, which they already did, and the women can get a first-round win. All right, the wrestling tournament's going on right now, the National Wrestling Tournament. I know Nebraska was at 2, and then we unfortunately lost one we weren't expecting to. Do we have an update on that at the moment, how they're doing? I know DP's there covering it. Maybe look it up. Let me know. Lots of Husker sports going on right now. It's an exciting time to be a Nebraskan, to be a Husker sports fan, a basketball fan, but just a Nebraska fan in general. All right. We will be playing Vanderbilt, 27-8 on the season, taking on McNeese, who is 28-6. Here's the interesting thing. Let me know when you get that, by the way. Here's the interesting thing. Vanderbilt won, and they were the better team. McNeese had won some in a row. Like that 5-12 matchup, you tend to get a more well-known team that's maybe cooled off towards the end of the season and a smaller school that's typically hot towards the end of the season. And that's kind of what this was, Vanderbilt, McNeese. And Vanderbilt wins by 10. But you look at it, McNeese shot terribly. 36% from the field. That's good if it's a 3-point shooting percentage, but not if you're talking about field goals or your 2-point shots. So they were 9-9 from the free throw line. Not a lot of free throws, but high efficiency. For comparison, Vanderbilt was 17-20. So I don't doubt that Vanderbilt's the better team. I don't doubt that Vanderbilt's a good team. What I'm saying is this is March Madness. You never know what can happen. And I thought Vanderbilt looked good, but not great. If you ask me which program, which team looked better in round 1, Nebraska looked unequivocally better in round 1 than Vanderbilt did. Now, what does that mean come Saturday? Probably not a whole lot. But if you're trying to project, you're trying to look ahead, Vanderbilt's a team that's capable. They're capable of going to like the Elite 8. They're a team that's capable of beating Nebraska, then beating Florida. What's interesting is so is Nebraska. Nebraska's a team that's capable of beating Vanderbilt, beating, in my opinion, the weakest number 1 seed. They're the only number 1 seed I don't have into the Final Four in Florida. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Let me know when you got that. I do want to give a quick shout out. Culligan, a great partner of this show. He's a former Husker and NFL player. As you know, I'm a bit of a health nut. Hydration and recovery, they do start at home. Make sure you team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and it protects your water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, make sure you add a Culligan reverse osmosis. Ladies and gentlemen, it is like bottled quality water right at your tab. Great taste and is certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, check out their spring specials as we celebrate March Madness. And make sure you stay hydrated through all the fun. Culligan of Lincoln, water you love, go Big Red. This is a limited time offer. Participating dealers, restrictions may apply. Learn more at culliganlincoln.com/basketball. Again, that's culliganlincoln.com/basketball. Do you have the latest, whatever the latest updates are?
Yeah, just the scores here, the championship team scores here. Last updated here about 4 minutes ago. Penn State came into the day number one. They have 62 points overall. Oklahoma State has now jumped Nebraska. They're at 47.5 points. Nebraska at 42.5 at third right now, just above Ohio State at 41.5. Big dip there to Iowa at 26. Not going to pretend like I know everything about wrestling, but it seems to be a giant gap there. So hopefully Nebraska can keep going there in this race for a national championship, and especially in wrestling, often, Penn State up there might be hard to take down. But finishing number 2 last year would be awesome if they can get to number 2 again this year, or, as high as they can.
Steel cages and steel chairs, right? When we're talking wrestling,
that's right. Friend. Yeah, I know a little more about that one.
All right. So as you were reading those off, I was like, and I know the Big Ten kind of dominates wrestling. Like the SEC doesn't even have wrestling, from what I understand. Is that correct? Because I remember talking about it last year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see their teams up there, so that I think you're right. I think I did hear that.
I talked about it last year. So unless they all of a sudden massively put it in this year, no media outlet covered it. The SEC does not even have wrestling. Before the top 5 teams in the country from the Big Ten, as you mentioned, Penn State 1 currently as the standings sit right now. Obviously, this is fluid. Nebraska at 3, Ohio State at 4, Iowa at 5. All right. And followed by Stanford, Michigan, Iowa State, Virginia Tech, and Lehigh out of nowhere. Lehigh off the top rope to the solar plexus, ladies and gentlemen. All right. What are your thoughts as we look ahead? We're going to talk a little bit of Nebraska football here, probably in the next segment. Got some things prepared here, but you look ahead to Vanderbilt, you look ahead to Vanderbilt, Nebraska, that matchup. What sticks out to you at this moment in time?
Well, I think you're just kind of doing your scouting. You're looking at Tyler Tanner. I mean, this is a guy that averages over 19 points per game, over 5 assists per game. Some of the best players you don't want to send to the free throw line. He's among them. 86% free throw shooter, 37% from beyond the arc, a sophomore. Last year averaged like 5 points per game. Now I didn't look up the awards. I'm sure he's all SEC. That's going to be kind of the biggest obstacle for Nebraska tomorrow. He's a 6-foot guard. So who do you put on him? You maybe think of a Sam Hoiberg matchup, an all-defensive player on your own right in the Big Ten Conference. Could be the answer there. We'll have to see. But they've got 3 guys that I think are interesting to try to shut down here. Tyler Tanner being the first. Duke Miles averages 16.4 points per game to go along with 4 assists and 3 rebounds as a 6'2" guard senior in the backcourt there. So they're led by their backcourt, but once you get to the front court too, they Tyler Nichols is especially impressive. 40% 3-point shooter from beyond the arc, averages 13.5 per game. Again, one of those guys that shoots 86% from beyond the line. From what I'm told too, is kind of like Nebraska. Anybody can shoot from beyond the arc. So you got to kind of look out for that. They'll take them. And they've got some guys that maybe don't shoot as good, kind of in the 28, 29%, but they'll take them. And we saw that yesterday too with Troy. If you got confidence in a shot like Valdez, who shot 22% going into the game, and he hit 4 of 6, those guys can get rolling too. It's a single game basis, not accumulation of season stats and how things go on. That's the best way to kind of look at it, but anybody can kind of pop out. But, 3 scores over 13 points per game, similar to Troy. Again, Thomas Dowd was invisible yesterday. Mm-hmm. Their leading scorer. I hardly even noticed him out there. Yep. If you can do the same thing, even to one of these guys, that'll give you a heads up. But Tyler Tanner is going to be the main one. I mean, he's kind of the headliner for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, yesterday, Dowd, 4 total points, 1 of 11 shooting from the field. He only had 2 points that weren't related to free throws. That's it. He basically got shut out yesterday, or shut down, not shut out yesterday. But to your point, Tyler Tanner, he's unequivocally their leading scorer. 6-foot guard. Duke Miles, 6'2". Here's what's interesting. If you can limit Tanner, if you can keep him from going off, or you can limit him, or maybe he has an off day, he had more points by himself than the next 2 top scorers combined. So, and you could say that about, what about Sanford? Well, it's the same thing. We have also seen Masco. I'll never forget that Michigan State game. At that point in time, I consider that to be the biggest, and I had a lot of people come at me afterwards. We don't need to debate this. We've beaten number one teams over the past, but at the moment in time, I got caught up in the moment. I said it was the biggest regular season win Nebraska basketball had ever had. Mask went off that night. I swear to God, he turned into Steph Curry, who was making it from half court. It's what it felt like that night. So Tyler Tanner, got to limit him. You look at their starting lineup, they don't have a single player over 6'7". Of the guys who started versus McNeese anyways. The 5 starters versus McNeese, they're 2 guards, 6'6" and 6'2". The 3 other players, all right, from Tyler Nickel, Devin McLaughlin, their 3 other starters, they're all 6'7". What do you think that means? Does that make you feel better or worse? What we know about Vanderbilt, again, 27-8, a team that could legit make it Elite 8, Final Four type run. They're not one of the favorites, but it is March. You never know what can happen. But what we know about Vanderbilt, what we know about Nebraska, I'm just going to say I personally like the matchup because the teams that make me nervous are the teams that are big, physical, down low. And I'm not by any means calling Vanderbilt soft, but they're not big. That is not what they're known for. They are guard heavy, and I like that matchup for Nebraska. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jalen Washington is 6'10" coming off the bench. They can go there, but they don't have, like you said, it's not part of their that's not their identity. So, they're not going to be one of those teams. It's not a Big Ten bigs that you're going up against. But their team it's just, again, in this matchup, it's as big of a toss-up as you can. I said it before, they're this is the 15th and 16th ranked teams across the country. Both of them started off the season with undefeated kind of records. I think, Nebraska obviously got to their 20 wins. I don't remember where Vanderbilt came up as far as their win total to begin the season. But so it's kind of just a similar story. Now, the difference with Vanderbilt and why, you might be a little bit nervous going into this is that they did kind of go on a run here lately. They beat Tennessee twice. Tennessee's a pretty good seed in this tournament and a pretty good team. And then the victory over Florida right before the loss to Arkansas in the SEC tournament. So this is a team that went in the SEC tournament and made it to the final, including beating a number 1 seed along the way here recently. So, that's where you start to think, okay, well, recently they seem to be closer to their peak at this point than maybe Nebraska was going into yesterday. But then again, I think that game against Troy was really, you just got about everything that you wanted out of it as far as your concerns about certain players not being dialed in or at their peak, right? So we'll see. It's going to be a really good game, and it's a toss-up if you could draw it out there again with the similar rankings out there. And but we'll see. The biggest thing could be Nebraska's crowd because when you factor that in there, sometimes that can be 2 or 3 points for a home crowd. Could be maybe we'll see if we can get some pressure on the officials there.
I like that. Let's pressure the officials. Let's get on the zebras a little bit. We've talked about monkeys and elephants. Now let's talk about the zebras. All right. We're not going to talk about the zebras anymore. But my point, or the point you were making, I actually looked it up while you were chatting. Vanderbilt started 16-0.
16, okay.
Then they lost 3 in a row. But they've also won, to your point, 4 of their last 5 and beaten some pretty good teams in there. Tennessee twice, Florida, before they ultimately lost. So they started hot. Of their 8 losses, 7 of them were right in that middle stretch of the season. And then they finished 4 out of 5. I wouldn't say that's on fire, but I say that's pretty much rolling. And then you factor in, including McNeese, it was 4 out of 5. Finished the regular season 3 out of 4, including McNeese, they won 4 out of 5. It's interesting because you look at the game yesterday between Vanderbilt and McNeese. Vanderbilt is very starter heavy. So you talked about Jalen Washington, 6'10", coming off the bench. He only played 15 minutes, only had 4 points. He's a senior. It's not like this is a young dude that's building. With all due respect, he is who he is. He's a senior. So he's not going to play more than 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes versus Nebraska at most. McNeese played 10 players in that game. Vanderbilt played 7. They're very starter heavy, and their tallest starter, they have 3 starters that are 6'7". To be clear, I'm not sitting here guaranteeing a Nebraska victory or anything. What I'm saying is I like the matchup. But this is March. You have no idea what the heck's going to happen. Look at Duke. Look at Wisconsin. Look at what happens almost every single March outside of last year. Last year was about the most boring March ever. It was like no upsets. G5 schools are dead. They can't compete. Well, bam, here they are right back doing their thing again this year, making things interesting, making things entertaining. But Vanderbilt's very starter heavy. So can you get a guy like Tyler Tanner in foul trouble? Can you get him in foul trouble? Can you go at him? Who's he guarding? Can you get that guy the ball, make him play some D? Can you make their starters? They're not going to be able to sub a ton. They just don't trust the rest of their team, the rest of their bench. So Jalen Washington played 15 minutes. Chandler Bing played the next most off the bench at 22, and nobody else even stepped foot on the court from the bench. So we'll see what happens. I like the matchup. We'll dive more into it. We'll learn more about it as it comes along. Before I think we play 7:45.
Yeah.
So we got on Saturday night. We got the early games. One of the early games on Thursday, and one of the late games on Saturday. I guess they want to give us some extra rest there. That's all right. I'm sure Husker Nation will be up, no problem, watching that game. Reminder: the women play today at 1 p.m. First round of the women's NCAA tournament at 1 p.m. today versus Baylor. Man, they look good on Wednesday. I hope they can carry it over. Sometimes I almost feel like the teams who play in the first 4 playing games have a little bit of advantage. Like I've never been convinced having a bye in the playoffs is a good thing, because you're not playing versus a team that's already in playoff mode. Now, there's obvious advantages to a bye. You don't have to win the extra game. You don't have the risk injury. Maybe you're a little bit fresher. But I've never been entirely convinced the advantage is as big as some people think. I wonder if it actually helps the women today at 1. We'll see. They're taking on Baylor. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, should we chat a little bit of the foosball?
Yeah, let's do it.
You're looking at me like, do you mean foosball or football? No. What was it, Waterboy? The mom would say foosball.
Yeah,
you played the
that's right.
foosball,
Yeah.
Bobby. We're going to chat the foosball, Bobby. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're listening to March Mayhem. Live coverage of the NCAA tournament from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. We're serving up a $5.99 meal deal that includes a 1-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side, and a drink, all for just $5.99. Craving brisket? Upgrade to our tender, slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Join us for lunch or dinner, or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
In communities like ours, local relationships still matter. At Insight Partners, we believe we are better together. That's why insurance agencies across the Midwest have joined Insight Partners to better serve local customers and communities with all their insurance needs. From personal to commercial or specialty insurance, your local Insight Partners team is here to help protect what matters most. Insight Partners, better together. Learn more at myInspartners.com.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
The wait is over. It's Truck Month at Anderson Ford, which means big selection and even bigger savings on Ford F-150s. Like lease a 2025 Ford F-150 for only $195 per month. The truck that's built to work hard and play hard. Another reason you'll experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1008409. Previous service letter. $195 per month for 36 months, 7,500 miles per year, 8,500 with type. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 3/31/26.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends. Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
A membership with John Henry's will fast track you to front of the line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
And electrical.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and we are very excited to announce our spring sales event happening now at Copple. We have 0% financing or up to $13,000 off select GMC and Chevrolet inventory. You heard that right, 0%. Or $13,000 off select inventory. We'd love to see you at the store or check us out online at copplecars.com. Folks, this is really confident buying and confident driving. Stock number C127238 and G173977 with approved credit.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be warm with an afternoon high near 85. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, low around 50. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies return. Be breezy and hot with a high near 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to March Mayhem. Live coverage of the NCAA tournament from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, Jake. I know you're bad news Bach and everything. More videos have come out from On3. More videos have come out from Josh Pate. The Kool-Aid is starting to be poured from the national pundits. It's starting to be poured. My question for you is, are you putting the glass underneath, or are you standing there watching as that liquid hits the floor? Are you starting to drink the Kool-Aid? Just a smidge, not a lot. Not like you're drowning yourself, but just, are you taking like a drop or two, or are you just like, are you bad news Baching all over the place? Like he's going to, Hoiberg's going to Hoiberg. Are you going to bad news Baching?
I think there, as long as there is a path for Nebraska football to win some games, I think we can all jump inside and jump along and drink that Kool-Aid. And that's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not too you have to talk to me by the, July, August, I might get to 9 wins. I'm not there yet. But I am excited to kind of see where the program is, and we'll be able to see that. The spring game, of course, coming up this Saturday, and there is a lot, some chatter about some of the new names in town that are kind of making waves down there on campus. And so, yeah, it's hard not to get excited about it and buy into it. Of course, there's so much else going on in Husker sports. The timing of the spring, obviously being early, it's throwing me off a little bit. But yeah, I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. We'll say that. I'm not chugging the Kool-Aid. I'm sipping the Kool-Aid.
I think it's all right to sip. Sipping is usually a safe thing to do, just in general, just for general purposes to be aware of. Some of the names that you're starting to hear a lot of, obviously Anthony Calandria is going to be all over the place. And I do think there's the gauze of a quarterback battle down there. But I think in Dana Holgerson's mind, like he even said his first press conference, he's the Mountain West Player of the Year. We brought him in for a reason. But Dana also said in TJ Latif's mind, he's the starter. So there's probably like, all right, we got to make sure we have the best player starting, but it's kind of like, no, this is going to be our starter. So I think Calandria is obviously going to catch a lot of the headlines. Was it Robin Washut went to practice, and he was watching some of the throwing drills, and he's like, one quarterback was hitting like right in the numbers, right in the chest, and it was Anthony. And so that's always good to you because you hear a lot about the off-script plays. You hear a lot about what he can do with his legs. Okay, well, he's a quarterback. We're not running the triple option. What can he do with his arms? What arms? His arm. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but a lot of guys don't have incredibly strong arms, but they're accurate. We know he's decisive. You can watch film. He's very decisive. He does not second-guess himself. He will take off and run fast. He will get the ball out quick. He said Dan Mullen at UNLV basically said just hit the open guy. Not to be overly simplistic, football can be uber complicated. It can be overly simplistic. The truth usually lies somewhere in the middle, but I think Calandria just wants to simplify the way he plays. Like, let's just go. Let's light this candle. And he's pretty accurate. Now, 8 fumbles, never had less than 8 fumbles in a season. The touchdown to interception ratio did go down last year. The completion percentage went up from 61 to 65%. So he's made strides. He's made improvements. Hopefully you see even more of an improvement this year. Obviously going to be some tougher competition. But I like what I hear as far as quick decision-making, accuracy. The off-script thing is something I keep hearing over and over. And it's either one of two things. It's like the new toy. You got this toy that you love, but you get a brand new toy, and so you're just excited about the new thing. It doesn't mean the old toy isn't still awesome, but you're just excited about the new thing. I am hearing so much about off-script plays. I'm almost like, is it just because it's the exciting new toy? Like, how many transfers have they brought to the podium versus returning players? It's almost always the majority of the transfers. It's the new – I was a former player, so I don't mind saying it. It's the new toys, okay? So somebody could have referred to me as a new toy at one point. So it's not offensive. If it is, I'm not offended either. So my point is, like, it's typically the new toys that get you excited. It's what you want to hear from at the press conferences is what people are going to talk about. Or are we over-reliant on these off-script plays? I don't want to be over-reliant on it. I don't want to be, well, the regular plays aren't great, so it's kind of like the video game. We just got to run around and make plays, and that's happening. That's my question in my head. Is it happening so much that that's what there is to talk about, which concerns me a little bit? Or is it just it's the new exciting thing, so that's what's at the forefront of your mind? We honestly don't know right now. We really, even if we watched every snap of every practice, you still won't really know how good the offensive line is. Oh, the offensive line looks great. What's that mean about the D-line? Well, you don't really know how a team's going to look until you go against somebody else. But Anthony Calandria is a guy we're going to talk about a ton this offseason. I try to keep that short because I want to get to the offensive linemen. I want to get to Owen Chambliss. I want to get to Dexter Foster, the other names that you're hearing a ton about. But your thoughts on what you've heard about Anthony Calandria so far?
Well, I think it's just kind of funny because I go back through, having done this for a while now, is kind of the different quarterbacks that Nebraska's had. And it's just that you always have pockets of the fan base that want the opposite, right? I mean, you think about Anthony Calandria and him running here. I know what's going to happen when he has a few off-script plays that work. People are going to get excited. A few off-script plays that don't work. Why can't we get a quarterback in here that can just pass?
That's
we need a guy that can pass, and then maybe if he has a little mobility, so you're going to go back and then
that's a great point.
I know, and of course we're just coming off Dylan Morello. Can't that guy move at all? So it's just it's funny because I'm just preparing for that. But I thought about that while you were kind of talking about it. The off-script plays can be fun. You get 3 or 4 of them, in a ball game that can be pretty fun. If it's 3 or 4 in a row, that's not going to consistently. You can't rely on that in the next 4 plays, right? So it can kind of even make a game interesting here and there. But as far as consistently, that's what they need to do. And hopefully, like you're saying, it's just the excitement element of it, the difficulty for the defense to adjust. The defense, I think it's great for whatever it is, even, installing and everything that they're doing, that they have to go up against a mobile quarterback like this that is able to do some off-script things to prepare them into the future. But, you can't become overly reliant on that. And so hopefully that is just kind of the excitement, and those are some of the most exciting plays. But to that, and that's what I'm excited about too, is which receivers are going to step up and themselves kind of do well in these off-script plays. So, running back toward the ball, finding the opening maybe in his own defense, whatever it might be when the quarterback's kind of running around I I think that there is plenty of blame for sacks, right? And you know, a lot of that you did go on Dillon. A lot of that went on the offensive line, running back protection. There is that last part of were the receivers doing everything they can to find a way to get open, and I don't know if that was always the case last season.
It's a fair point to make. And Quasi Gilmer's another guy you're hearing about. I mean, he's like the main guy you're hearing about, although you see the clip of Ja'Cory Barney, a couple of them being ran by On 3 from highlights from practices. You have your two best receivers from last year returning. And Ja'Cory Barney is one of the guys on this team. You could put him on any team in the Big Ten, and he probably starts. That's a heck of a compliment. With all due respect, I don't know that you can say that about a bunch of guys on the team, okay? But you can say it about him. And probably some other guys on the team. Not a bunch, but some. So you got your two best receivers coming back. Then you add in the guy that appears to possibly, probably, potentially be your number one receiver. It's Quasi Gilmer. So you got to feel halfway decent about that at least. You go to the defensive side of the ball. Well, you go to the offensive line. You go to Brendan Black, Tree Babalade, Paul Mubenga. You hear great things right now about Brendan, about Paul, Justice Evans, and Elijah Pritchett. Those four spots on the offensive line, you hear really good things about. With Tree, it's just the consistency factor. That right tackle spot as a whole. The talent is there. The size is there. The athleticism is there. Can the development catch up with where it needs to be between now and game 1, and especially game 4? Because even Matt Rule kind of, like in non-conference games to preseason games. I don't lose them. They do count. Unlike preseason games in the NFL, they do count. But you can use them a little bit as developmental as well. All right, so you got to feel better about the offensive line. Just by de facto, the coach, one of the best O-line coaches in the country, you've upgraded through transfer portal personnel. You do have some young guys coming back. Sam Sledge, Tyler Canuck, all right, Preston Tamua, Grant Bricks. You might have a solid 8 to 9 players who can rotate, which I don't know. When's the last time we could say that? It's been a long time. So you feel better about certain things. You go to the defensive side of the ball. The two names you keep hearing, Dexter Foster, Owen Chambliss. Dexter Foster, Owen Chambliss. Big, long, rangy, side-to-side athletic. We have linebackers who've been here for years that you've heard positive things about that it doesn't look like they'll be starting. It's not an indictment on them. That's a compliment. They should be fighting to start, by the way, and I'm sure they are. That's a compliment to how Dexter and Owen have looked so far. So there's certain reasons, there's certain things, I think, that there's legit reasons to be like, we're going to be better here, here, and here. I feel really good about pointing to the O-line being better. I feel really good about pointing to the wide receiver group as a whole being better. I mean, our starting off tight end is back. I don't think he's going to get worse, and I know Luke's putting in a ton of work. I know that for a fact, both at Nebraska and away, even during spring break right now. And so is Calandri. They're kind of doing it together to a degree anyways. So he's got to be better. Hopefully you're developing and getting better every year. I feel like it's safe to say that. The running back room, now you got question marks. The running back room is a question mark. Talent, question mark? No. Proven production? Yes. Do you know what to expect? No. That's where the question mark comes in. You look at the defensive line. It's a question mark right now. Okay, we had players come back. We brought in some guys. You hear great things about the O-line in practice. What's that mean about the other side of the line of scrimmage? Nobody that's consistently proven. Now, you hear about Jasir Whittington, all right, the Pitt D tackle, 4-star coming out of high school, a little lighter, but explosive, twitchy. All right, so hopefully that translates over into the games. The secondary, a lot of new faces, such a good secondary last year. I don't think we have to be top 3 in the country in our pass defense like we were last year. We were number 1 for a large part of the season, and we dropped to 5, and I think we ended around 3rd or 4th. I don't know that we have to be that again, especially if we're better in other areas, but can we watch our secondary and be like, that is a very good secondary, whatever the numbers look like? What are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, it's very interesting because, obviously coaches usually don't get fired after having a top 5 secondary, but that happened with John Butler, and how much of that was given up, maybe too much of that for the rush defense, right? And protecting that pass defense. I know Jay Foreman specifically was on it a lot, talking about how you might be kind of pass first in the NFL. You got to be rush first here in the Big Ten as far as your defensive schemes and all that sort of stuff. So, we'll see. I don't, like you said, I don't know if I expect a top 5 secondary, but I don't expect to worry about them more often than not. There's going to be some games. There's going to be some games where they're tested, and you might have to start to kind of think about that, against Ohio State, Oregon type athletes that are going to be out there. But for the most part, I think they're going to be pretty solid. It's that linebacker unit that gives you hope, but it's that defensive line unit that makes you want to wait and see, right? I mean, they can have all the reports they want to, and again, I think they've been somewhat quiet about it, but I think what they brought in on the defensive line, again, didn't blow you away, right? I don't want to put anybody down, but the guys they brought in hopefully can contribute. You're hopefully adding guys that you think are going to come in and contribute, and I think they're going to do that in Owen Stodmeyer and Jasir Whittington, who you brought up, Anthony Jones, who's been well-traveled in the Big Ten. And then there's guys that I like on that we've liked for a long time on that line. It just didn't work out with, the Williams Wineries. Cade Petchak looked really good at a time. I thought Gabe Moore made some plays. Riley Van Poppel's been kind of hit or miss here. Cam Linhart is a senior now, if you can imagine that. And as people are still talking about his freshman production. So it's just kind of putting it all together, putting those pieces together. But I know you can talk about it too. It's not just the defensive line when it's a bad rush defense. Sometimes it is filling those gaps from the secondary, and certainly that secondary level of the defense and linebacker. And I think that is why there's kind of a little bit more excitement with the linebackers that they brought in. Remember, these are guys that, had, in Dexter Foster, that was the leading tackler on his team before he got hurt. Owen Chambliss up there with, I can't remember what he had, over 100 tackles, whatever it was. So, I mean, these are guys that should be able to fill those holes a little bit better. And hopefully, especially, we talk about that schedule and how difficult it's going to be. And it's going to be really difficult. But there's kind of you kind of get a wean into it, like you're saying with those non-con games, is that they can kind of work on it. And hopefully that'll give them enough time to get going there. That and, of course, scheme. I think scheme played a big part of it. And then just how back to the basics type of thought, right? I mean, by the time the John Butler press conference happened before the Iowa game, and he was talking about going out and needing bigger bodies and stuff, and you're going into the Iowa game still with the same players, but a lot of it was, and certain highlights were made of just like, man, these guys got to know how to, just kind of do the basics on the defensive line and set the edge and all that sort of stuff. And it's just not happening play after play. So a lot of it, I think, can just be, and hopefully can just be fixed with a new set of eyes and somebody that can maybe get a little bit more from those guys on technique and some of the basics.
I got one thing before we go to break here. When we come back, there's one big question mark that we have not broached yet. Also, an under-the-radar player who is uber talented that has flashed throughout spring, and if he can stay healthy, there's a gigantic hint as to who it is. He's not been healthy. If he can stay healthy, to keep your eye out for. Before we go to break, though, I will tell you why I feel better about Rob Orridge, who I'm just going to be blunt. His resume is not even close to John Butler's. It's not even close. When John Butler got hired, I listed that resume out, and I think it took about 25 minutes. I'm joking, but it was a long resume. I always got a weird vibe from Butler. He struck me as an odd duck. And I hinted at it here and there, but I didn't say a lot. And I remember just thinking, how's he going to relate to college kids? You learn things, you hear things as the season is going along, and then at the end of the year, it starts to come out more publicly, which you'd been hearing all year, what I'd been hearing all year, which is he brought an NFL mindset to college football, and he wasn't adapting. Like, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to jam a square peg into a round hole. I'm going to emphasize what I've emphasized for 20 years in the NFL, not how you win in Big Ten football. I'm not going to try to relate to the players. They need to get better, which they need to get better, but that is an NFL mindset. You're not good enough, you're gone. I got to outsmart the next coach. College, there's a little bit of that. Like, there's players being released now, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, if you're going to hop into the portal every 5 minutes, there's got to be a counterbalance to that. But you need someone who can come in and who can understand how you win in college football, who can understand how you win in the Big Ten, who can adapt to what he's got, who can take advantage of the puzzle pieces he has instead of trying to jam them in where he thinks they need to be, and someone who can actually relate to players. Butler was an odd duck. He was not a great fit. He's got an insane resume. He's going to get snapped up by an NFL team and make a lot of money because he's a great NFL secondaries coach. Not great in college, and that's okay. Some people are good at one thing but not great at another, and that's okay. Rob Orridge does not have the resume, but he is a 10 times better fit. And I feel better right here, right now about Rob Orridge as our DC, as unproven as he is at this level, than I did John Butler at this time last year. I would hint at it, but I didn't know for sure about Butler. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. But this is what I will say right here, right now. Orridge is a better fit. We'll see how it plays out. Nothing's guaranteed. I got a surprise player to watch for. It's not the first time his name's been brought up. It's the first time I'm bringing it up on this show, and I haven't heard it a ton. And I kept waiting for you to say it when you talk about, I don't want to even give away the position. You didn't say his name, and that's what made me think of him. And one big question mark. We better head to break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're listening to March Mayhem. Live coverage of the NCAA tournament from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The wait is over. It's Truck Month at Anderson Ford, which means big selection and even bigger savings on Ford F-150s. Like lease a 2025 Ford F-150 for only $195 per month. The truck that's built to work hard and play hard. Another reason you'll experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1008409. Previous service letter. $195 per month for 36 months, 7,500 miles per year, 8,500 with type. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 3/31/26.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Husker fans, baseball is back in Lincoln, and it's time to get your tickets to Nebraska baseball. Catch great matchups all season long as the Huskers take on some of the top teams in the Big Ten, including Indiana, USC, and Iowa. Plus, don't miss midweek action against in-state rival Creighton and regional matchups with Kansas and Kansas State. Bring the whole family. General admission tickets start at just $10 or grab reserved seats for $15. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action this season. Get your tickets today by visiting huskers.com/tickets or by calling 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Early break is hitting the road to the NCAA tournament in Oklahoma City. Join me, Jake Sorensen, Steve Sipple, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 a.m. in the outdoor patio area of the Courtyard Marriott in downtown OKC on both Thursday and Friday. Come down and hang out to start the day before Nebraska plays Troy on Thursday, and then join us on the off day on Friday as well. Early Break's trip to OKC is made possible by Sandhills Careers, who is growing in Lincoln. Visit sandhills.jobs to view openings and apply today.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. Nebraska men's basketball is dancing. The Huskers qualified for the NCAA tournament, and 93.7 The Ticket is here to cover all the action. Follow me, Austin Orman, on all 93.7 The Ticket social media platforms for updates throughout Nebraska's appearance in the Big Dance. Our coverage from Oklahoma City is made possible by Sandhills Careers and Insight Partners.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Wake up, Lincoln. You're not dreaming. Schaefer Sleep Gallery has closeout mattresses up to 50% off. Hurry in now for the best selection and savings on Serta Beauty Rest and Sutherland closeouts. We're talking one-of-a-kinds, floor models, and closeouts up to 50% off. Plus, Schaefer Sleep Gallery has free local delivery on any closeout Serta Beauty Rest and Sutherland mattress while they last. So hurry in to save hundreds. Plus, free local delivery on closeout mattresses in the Sleep Gallery at Schaefer's. 48th and R, Lincoln.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Noticing more dust at home? It may be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Breathe easy and healthy. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Fans, are you craving the ultimate game day experience? Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill has your front row seat to all the action. Dive into delicious wings, juicy burgers, and ice-cold drinks, all served up with TVs covering every inch of the wall, so you'll never miss a play. Rally your crew, cheer on your team, and take advantage of game night specials every week. Stop in for a Nebraska basketball game with a party of 4 or more and receive a free pitcher of beer. Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill, right by the Lincoln Airport at 3111 Northwest 12th Street.
You're listening to March Mayhem. Live coverage of the NCAA tournament from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. All right, we got to be quick here. So I'm going to give you my player to watch that's under the radar, and you thought it was going to be one. I told you during the break who it was. You got another one.
Yeah.
Mine is Sua Lafotu. This is a guy who they've mentioned getting after the quarterback, doing some good things this spring. If you're a fan, you may recognize the name, you may not. He's been hurt a lot. Now, if he can avoid the injury bug, if he can stay healthy, we need people to emerge on the D-line. He's the guy that may have flown under the radar due to the injury bug, and if he can avoid that, he's a name you might start to hear more and more often. My biggest question mark, we didn't talk about special teams. There's no guarantee we're just going to roll on over and be just as good as we were a year ago. Didn't we talk about it's not about the system towards the end of December and whatever? Now all of a sudden we're here. It's all about the system when it comes to the special teams. Brett Maher, love it. Love everyone they have in place, just not proven yet. Until you're proven, it's fair to put a question mark there. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying doom and gloom. Okay, I'm just saying it's a question mark, and I'm saying as a potential surprise player, Sua Lafotu. Who you got?
Yeah, I like that one. There are a few names that I think that you don't want to forget that have kind of been bogged down by injury to the last couple of years. Bly Hill was a name that I kind of forgot about. I was scrolling down the Husker roster. Like, oh, yeah, Bly Hill could still be a big contributor there in the secondary. And then you mentioned it. We were just kind of talking about it, too. Demetrius Bell. From a couple of years ago, got hurt in the spring game, I believe it was, and maybe kind of led to not having the spring game the next season. I thought that maybe he was going to have an opportunity at, a year removed from that injury because there was talk about him kind of moving up the depth chart at that time before he got injured. So those are a few names not to forget about that could pop up and maybe kind of find their pre-injury self where they were very much in the mix to start at their each respective position.
VCU beat North Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, that was last night.
That was last night?
That was last night.
I went to bed. Nebraska won. That's all I cared about. So Bly Hill was slated to start at the end of 2 sprints, if you remember, when he got hurt. And then Demetrius Bell was a name you were hearing a lot. I look forward to names who rise up and surprise us. They happen every year. This is one of my favorite things to happen every year. You got to keep in mind, some of my best friends that I played with are walk-ons. My brother-in-law is a walk-on. The reason I met my wife is because I was friends with Jeff McBride, no relation to Charlie, and that's how I met my wife. So I root for the underdog. I root for the unknown, and those are the guys I look for. I can't wait for those names. When it comes to Bell specifically, I mean, you never know, but it kind of seems like we have the 3 starters. We know who they are. And then when you hear about that next slew of receivers, you hear about Cortez Mills. And Janiran Bonner is kind of a guy they move all over the place, maybe a tight end-esque or fullback-esque at times. Wide receiver S. But you hear about the Keelan Smith. You hear about that second slate of receivers. He's probably trying to work his way into there. But those are 2 guys 2 years ago at the end of spring, right before those injuries, man. You heard a lot about them. I'm rooting for them along with everybody else. All right, man. You going to miss me over the weekend?
Oh, I always do. I just I can't wait till Monday.
Lies. All right. I'll miss you. Go Big Red. And always remember, throw the bone.